In an Amish kitchen, the end of a long day looks nothing like what you'd expect. The dinner dishes are cleared, the table wiped clean, and the last of the mashed potatoes and vegetable peels sit neatly in a small wooden bowl. But none of it, not a single crumb, is headed for the trash. In fact, the Amish don't even use the word waste the way most of us do. Every leftover, peel, or scrap has a purpose. It might feed an animal, become the base for tomorrow's soup, turn into soap, or nourish the soil that grows next season's food. This isn't just recycling, it's a way of life. Today we're uncovering the quiet genius behind how the Amish live waste-free, and how every scrap of food finds a second life. To understand Amish zero-waste living, you have to start with faith. For them, food isn't just something to consume, it's a gift from God. The Bible teaches stewardship, that humans are caretakers of the earth, not its owners. This belief shapes how the Amish treat everything they grow, cook, and eat. Throwing food away feels disrespectful, not only to the effort it took to grow it, but also to the creator who provided it. That mindset changes everything. When you see food as sacred, you find a use for every last bit. Nothing defines an Amish kitchen better than the sound of a pot simmering on the stove. Every carrot top, onion skin, or chicken bone that might be thrown out elsewhere is collected in a bowl or bucket throughout the week. Once enough has gathered, it all goes into a broth pot. Fiban and Durs. Heart of Amish cooking. Vegetable scraps become a rich base for soup. Bones are roasted, then boiled for hours until they release minerals and collagen. Even wilted herbs find new life, adding flavor and nutrition. The result? A golden, nutrient-dense broth that can be used in stews, gravies, and sauces, extending food life while wasting nothing. What most people toss into the trash, the Amish transform into something healing and essential. In the barn, a different kind of recycling happens. Scraps from the kitchen, corn husks, cabbage leaves, fruit cores, stale bread, all make their way to the animals. Pigs, chickens, goats, and even dairy cows benefit from the leftovers. Nothing is left to rot in a bin. Instead, it's converted into energy and eventually, back into food. The Amish have no industrial waste system. Their animals are the waste system. Every household chore connects to another. The chickens clean up table scraps, their manure fertilizes the garden, and that garden grows the next season's vegetables. It's a perfect natural loop, one that modern sustainability experts are only now trying to imitate. Even after feeding the animals, some scraps remain, like peels, pits, coffee grounds, or bones that can't be reused. Those go to the compost pile. Every Amish homestead has one. It's not high-tech, not automated, just a simple balanced mix of greens and browns, layered carefully behind the barn. Over time, heat, moisture, and microorganisms break everything down into dark, crumbly soil. That compost is returned to the fields and gardens, enriching the next year's crops. In this way, even decay becomes life again. It's a cycle of renewal, visible proof of how nothing in nature is truly wasted. One of the most surprising ways the Amish reuse food scraps is through soap making. After rendering lard or tallow from butchering, any leftover fat or cooking grease is saved in jars. Once enough is collected, it's heated and mixed with lye water, often made from wood ash, to create natural, durable soap. The result is a product that cleans homes, clothes, and skin without synthetic chemicals. This process might seem old-fashioned, but it's ingenious. They turn leftover kitchen grease to most people discard into a household necessity that costs nothing. During winter, many Amish homes still rely on candles and oil lamps for light, but even candle scraps have a second life. Old candle stubs are melted together, filtered through cheesecloth, and re-poured into new molds or jars. Sometimes leftover animal fat is blended in for longer burn times. This simple method means light never goes to waste, it just changes form. What once illuminated one evening becomes the flame for another. Even stale bread isn't wasted in Amish homes. It's grated into breadcrumbs, soaked into puddings, or toasted for croutons. Leftover milk that's starting to sour becomes buttermilk or cheese. Whey, the liquid left from cheese making, feeds pigs or enriches bread dough with protein. Every substance is viewed for what it can still do, not what it's lost. This attitude turns the simplest household into a model of efficiency. Fruit season is sacred in Amish life, not just for flavor, but for survival through winter. When apples, peaches, or berries are canned, the peels and cores don't go to waste. They're simmered down to make vinegar, jellies, or natural cleaners. Apple cores, for instance, are steeped in water with sugar and covered loosely for several weeks. The result? Homemade apple cider vinegar, a powerful cleaner, food preservative, and remedy. Even the sugar water used for rinsing fruit jars is reused to sweeten tea or feed bees. It's all part of a rhythm that values every drop. Beyond food, the Amish also turn their leftovers into useful home products. Herbs that are drying out, added to soaps or healing balms, citrus peels, soaked in vinegar for all-purpose natural cleaners, eggshells, crushed for calcium supplements or garden fertilizer. Nothing leaves the home unless it serves one final purpose. This isn't DIY culture, it's generational knowledge. Techniques passed down because they work. Children grow up surrounded by this quiet system of reuse. They learn to separate food scraps after meals, to feed animals correctly, and to recognize what can still be used. There's pride in it, not shame. They understand that waste is a modern invention, not a necessity. In many Amish schools, lessons on canning, composting, and homemaking are as important as reading or math. They're not just learning to survive, they're learning to respect creation. For the Amish, zero waste isn't a movement, it's gratitude in action. They don't preach sustainability, they live it. They don't buy eco-friendly labels, they simply refuse to waste what they already have. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. The awareness that every resource, no matter how small, has value. When you walk into an Amish home, you won't find garbage bins full of half-eaten meals or plastic wrappers. You'll find glass jars, wooden bowls, and a quiet system that keeps everything useful until the very end. Modern life produces mountains of waste, food thrown out for cosmetic flaws, leftovers forgotten in the fridge and packaging that lasts centuries. The Amish show us another way, one that worked long before sustainability became a buzzword. If you save broth from bones, reuse, candle wax, or compost your scraps, you're living by Amish logic. And that logic works. Use what you have, waste nothing, and trust that the earth will return the favor. As night falls, the lanterns in an Amish kitchen flicker softly. Tomorrow's meals are already half prepared, not by buying new, but by reusing the old. The compost steams gently in the cold, chickens settle after a meal of scraps, and the smell of broth fills the air. In this world, nothing is wasted. Not a crumb, not a flame, not an ounce of effort. And that's what makes it all so powerful. They live with quiet respect for what they have, proving that abundance doesn't come from having more. It comes from using what you already have wisely.